Okay, today we're going to move over kind of the other side of the globe from Asia, where we've been spending a lot of time, into medieval Africa. And a lot of people don't realize that there was a lot going on in Africa during the period of the 1200s, 1300s, 1400s, especially in the northern parts, the parts surrounding the Sahara Desert, and very much so in this area here, what we now know as West Africa. There was a whole series of kingdoms that grew up there and became very influential, especially as they adopted Islam. Okay, so first we're going to go back a little bit and talk about traditional African societies. Okay, most of them are village-based, power shared among members of the community instead of a strong leader, and they did it by consensus. They gathered together usually for open discussions. They lived in small groups. Elders and other respected people presented their arguments before a general agreement is reached. Family patterns in this time period, very much a nuclear family, which is father, mother, and children. And a lot of these were hunting and gathering societies. In other communities, the extended family was more common. These were probably more farming-based communities. Traditional African society emphasized the group over the individual, and those who descended from a common ancestor would form clans, and they were based on your lineage. You joined the clan that was your family, usually passed through, I believe, the mother. Community values are a very important part of everyday life in Africa and still are today. Okay, religious beliefs. Africans identified with the forces of nature and divine spirits and worshipped many gods and goddesses. This is similar to the Japanese Shinto religion, but it is known as animism. Many worship spiritual objects. This religion is, like I said, is called animism, and they have what people call diviners, would help you to understand the spiritual world. Healers help people with medical problems by using herbal remedies. Africans also practice ancestor worship, or the belief that their ancestor spirit helped them in times of trouble. Most of the economy was based on subsistence farming, simply growing enough food to survive and hopefully having some left over to trade with other villages. Okay. Series of African kingdoms grow up mostly in the western parts of Africa, but some also along the southern Nile. Towns soon become part of an important trade network. Gold and salt, most important products traded. People need salt in their diets to prevent dehydration. You can't live without salt. It's almost as important as water. There's plenty of salt in the Sahara, but there's very little on the savanna south of the Sahara. So the people of the Sahara trade the gold that they have in their region to obtain salt from the savanna. I'm sorry, the other way around. The people of the savanna trade their gold with the people of the Sahara to get salt. So strong African leaders create powerful kingdoms by gaining control over the most profitable trade routes. Three trading kingdoms of West Africa, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, developed one after the other. There's a trading kingdom called Axum, which is in East Africa, kind of around modern-day Ethiopia, down on the southern Nile. And over time, Islam becomes an important social and religious force, particularly in the north and west of Africa. It is in southern Africa now, but it takes a while to get there, other than along the coast. Okay, these are the three West African kingdoms we're going to spend the most attention to. You have Ghana, which is in the darker brown. Then you had Mali, which is probably the most famous of them, the yellow, and then Songhai comes on in the 15th century. That is the largest of the three, surrounded by the orange. Okay, and these are all on that western part of Africa, kind of in the area blended between the Sahara and the tops of the savanna. Okay. So Ghana. Around 800, the rulers of many farming villages unite to create the Kingdom of Ghana. They have a powerful king who rules over this splendid court at his capital. Income from the gold trade allows him to maintain a large army of foot soldiers and cavalry, and the army helps the king to control and expand his kingdom. Muslim merchants bring their religion when they settled in the Kingdom of Ghana. They came there to trade, but they also brought their religion. The king had Muslim officials influenced by the Muslim military technology and ideas about the government. They absorbed a lot of things from the Arabic, a lot of cultural diffusion. Along with that, they take in the writing and the architecture style. Women in Ghana have a very high status, and they play an active role in the economic life of the empire. Okay, and here's Ghana up here in the yellow. Okay, modern, it is nowhere near modern Ghana, which you can see is farther to the south. And on the fringes of that are the great city of Timbuktu. Out in the Sahara Desert, you have some pictures here of some of the ruins of Timbuktu. Okay, Mali, probably the most famous of the African kingdoms. It's ruled by powerful kings who they called Mansas. Mansa was the term for emperor. And under the Mansa Musa, the most powerful of the Malian rulers, they extend their borders and they dominate West Africa. He has a large army that keeps order and it protects it from attack. And the warriors, although they're an elite class, most of the people are farmers and herders. Mansa Musa runs a very efficient government, appointing governors to rule particular areas, and he based his system of justice on the Quran, the Muslim holy book. He also made the city of Timbuktu a center of Muslim learning. The empire declined in the 1400s when people could not agree on a ruler. We will spend a day talking about Mansa Musa and whether he was really the richest man the world has ever seen, because he owned the gold trade of the Sahara for a good period of time, and he made a lot of money off it. Okay, here's some pictures and maps of where things are. In the green up above in the top right, you can see the Malian Empire. We're going to be looking a little bit more closely at the drawing on the right. This is from what's called the Catalan Atlas. We will look at that in class. And Mansa Musa is a Muslim, and he takes the pilgrimage, or the Hajj, to Mecca. And you can, we'll talk a little bit about his route to Mecca and how he so impressed people with his money during this time. Okay, so a little bit more on the trade networks that grew out of the Malian Empire. You can see the Malian Empire in purple and all the places that they traded with, both north and south and west or east. Okay, last of the great African kingdoms is Songhai. Like Ghana and Mali, Songhai depends on a strong army to control trade routes. The Emperor Soni Ali built Songhai into the largest state that had ever existed in West Africa. Okay. He established an efficient bureaucracy to govern the kingdom, and trade spreads from Europe to Asia. Songhai prospered until the 1500s when civil war breaks out, and it causes the downfall of the kingdom. Okay, so just a little comparison, contrast. You're going to want to make sure you have this written down between the three empires, so you'll probably want to stop the video here and copy this. Okay, other African kingdoms. Mediterranean Red Seas link Africa to the Middle East and Europe. The Indian Ocean links it to Africa, to India, and the other Asian lands. Products from the African interior are transported overland to the coast and then out of Africa. Okay, Axum, one of the early ones. Okay, it's on the bottom of the Red Sea. It's kind of in modern day Ethiopia and Sudan. It was a trading kingdom that merged Jewish and Christian religions, eventually became present day Ethiopia. Hausa. In the 1300s, the Hausa people built city-states in what became present-day Nigeria. They were cotton weavers and leather workers who traveled on caravans across the Sahara as far as Europe. And then you have Benin, located in the rainforest of the Guinea coast, a little bit farther south of Mali and Ghana and Songhai. They trade ivory, pepper, and they are some of the earliest ones in the slave trade. The people of Benin also learned how to cast bronze and brass. Okay, so there's a lot going on in Africa. Around 600 trading cities arise all across East Africa. They include the cities of Mogadishu, Kilwa, and Sofala, that are all there today and all trading communities today. They conducted the business with the Indians, and they sold slaves to Persia. Cultural diffusion leads to the rise of a new language called Swahili, in which there's Arab words mixed with the Bantu that we have talked about before, the main African language, to create this new language of Swahili. Okay, so complete the Google form, answering all the questions, and submit it through either Edmodo or Google Classroom.